I want you to understand that most hard conversations, they generally go sideways because it's not that you have a grown adult on the other side that is incapable of receiving feedback, but the majority of the times when you go into hard conversations, that feedback is wrapped in assumptions and assassinations or character attacks. And when that happens, generally things do go sideways because you've got to be able to ask yourself, are you leading this conversation with face value information that is justified by a confirmation bias? And I'm talking about your confirmation bias because you want to protect your ego and feel comfortable and not be an outcast of your social group. Now, here's what I want you to do. And I want you to take 5 minutes and I want you to do this. Prior to engaging in a feedback session or either that hard conversation, on that piece of paper, I want you to draw a line down the middle and I want you to draw a line across the top. And on the left side, I want you to put evidence at the very top. That's going to be your left column. And in your left column, what you're going to write down is the observable, specific, verifiable behaviors that you have observed and the outcomes and consequences that those behaviors produce. And I'm talking about things that you can count and things that you can measure. Because when you do this, you're going into a hard conversation that an individual has to justify. They have to justify the consequences of their behaviors. Because once you do that, then you can infer what the why is. What is the motivator behind their behaviors? And on the right side, I want you to write assumptions at the top. And on the assumptions, I want you to be honest. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. I want you to write down your assumptions, your interpretations, your perceptions, your impressions, the conclusions that you've come to without any verifiable information. Now, when you sit down and you're processing the information that you put down on this piece of paper, you haven't even approached this individual yet. You have taken some notes. If the right column is loaded and the left column is thin, you ain't ready for this conversation. Because you can guarantee that employee or either that peer or either that supervisor, they're doing the same thing that you are, especially if they're watching this video. Because when you're ready to deliver an opinion, things are going to go sideways. You go into an argument or either a feedback session with verifiable facts, things that can be counted, things that can be observed, and things that can be measured, and things that can be judged based upon the organization's governance system, not your own personal belief system. Because when you walk in with anchored evidence, and I'm talking about specific named observable behaviors, conversations change in the room. Me, when I walk into a conversation, I've walked into many with some individuals that have been assigned authoritative positions that were incapable of facilitating what I'm talking about. And all I did was go in and ask questions. How do you justify this? How do you justify this? Because the behaviors that you exhibited here are contradictory to what the organization standard here is. And then I would look at individuals and I'd ask them, be like, do you have a rationalization, a logic rationalized thought on why you would exhibit these behaviors or why you're justifying somebody else's counterproductive workplace behaviors? And I would get silence. I would literally get silence. I'll give you an example. When in my last organization, I went into a conversation and I said, hey, our staff judge advocate, which are our attorneys, I said, what gives the staff judge advocate who works for a commander? They're just staff officers. I said, what gives them the authority to ignore a commander's order and directive and to violate an Army regulation and release a unsubstantiated 15-6 investigation to be used as a punitive tool against an employee? To this day, no one can give me that answer because you had individuals in there that were anchored on their personal beliefs without any verifiable facts. And that's what we're trying to avoid, because right now, your behaviors need to be in alignment with what you know and who you said that you were going to be. You said that you were going to be a leader. Have the hard conversation. Because when you go into a conversation with facts, because remember, facts don't care about your feelings. The other person, when you present to them what they actually did, that produces accountability. And the assumptions, they go out the window. And if you do lead a conversation with assumptions, that's going to produce a lot of defensiveness on the other side. Because now you have the way I feel, it doesn't go anywhere. That's where values collide and people divide inside of an organization. Go into any conversation, set your emotions, set your feelings off to the side, manage them, have the right mood orientation, think about what you're going to do, and exhibit behaviors that are in line with the organization standard. Because you're not seeking to hurt somebody, you're seeking an outcome that is beneficial for the organization. You may not like this employee, I got that. They may not like you. We're not in the eighth grade anymore. Lead with facts and not assumptions. So try this exercise out the next time. Try it out with yourself, because when you are able to walk away from your assumptions, you walk into hard conversations with facts, and generally things are going to turn out well. If you have an employee that can't justify their behaviors, their counterproductive workplace behaviors, then hey, you know what you have to do. Do the hard thing, counsel them, put them on a performance improvement plan, and if help them get better, help them see what they've done. That's what mentoring, coaching, and teaching and leading is all about. It's not about hurting people. It's taking the time to develop individuals, because you hired this individual into your organization because they possess the necessary competencies, the hard skills to perform the task, but they may not have the attitudinal perspective or either the emotional maturity to perform within a particular social group. So tell me how you feel, what you see inside of your organization. Tell me what some objective facts. And follow along on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because Monday it's all about the knowledge. Wednesdays it's all about who I am as a leader, being a leader, and Friday is all about execution, the do. I look forward to seeing you.